Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Ashley and this is Martin Midlife Misadventures, and today we're gonna flour it up, my favorite day of the week. And guess what we're making? Pizza. I cannot believe how many of you asked me to make you pizza, and guess what? Pizza happens to be my #1 favorite food. So if there's anything I know how to make well, it's pizza. So I'm going to show you how to make the crust, and I'm also going to give you my own personal recipe for my pizza sauce. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy, it's good. It's not runny. It tastes authentic, okay? Not like stuff you buy in a jar. And it'll last in your refrigerator for at least a week, but honestly, you probably won't have much of it left. Are you ready to make some pizza? Let's get started. All right, friends, let's get into our pizza crust ingredients. We need 2 cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of instant dry yeast. You could just use a packet of yeast if you wanted to. You're going to need 3/4 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon. Sometimes I just use a whole teaspoon. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You could use vegetable oil for this if you don't have it, so do not make pizza because you don't have olive oil. And last but not least, we're going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar added into our 2/3 a cup of slightly warm water. All right, I want to activate this yeast before we do anything else. We need 1½ teaspoons. So here we go. Make sure it's leveled out. Get a half. There you go. And we need 2 tablespoons of sugar. And we're going to go ahead and add that right in there. That sugar really helps activate your yeast. We're going to give it a little stir and set it to the side for about 5 minutes while we get our flour ready. All right, friends, I already have 1 cup of flour in the bowl. I have my 2nd cup right here, and I want to show you something. Whenever you're baking, and this is vitally important if you're new to baking, you must measure, and measure properly. I filled this with a scooper, gently filled my cup, and then I leveled it off. You just level it off, okay? You do not pack it in, you just level it off. That's how you get an accurate measure of your flour. It's very, very important. So now that we have our 2 cups of flour, we're going to add our 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Just kind of move that around in there because we are going to get our yeast mixture. I am going to use my hands today for this. We'll dump our yeast mixture in there. Make sure you get the sugar if there's some not dissolved at the bottom. Now we're going to start mixing. I'm using my hands and I'm going to get this. Okay, we're going to mix this. Keep kneading until you have... I'm sorry about my dog, guys. She's working out there. All right, you see how we're kind of shaggy here? We still have some flour down here in the bowl. What we're going to do is get our oil. Now we add 1 tablespoon. Remember, we're using 2 tablespoons here. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. This is going to get really soft. And we are going to mix all this olive oil into this dough. And this takes a minute, okay? But trust me, if you're willing to put a little bit of time into your doughs, oh, it's amazing. It's better than any pizza crust you can order from one of those Domino's, Pizza Huts, Little Caesars, things like that. You want to make it yourself, save a lot of money. You know, we've been having pizza every Friday night for almost 30 years. It's just something we did with the kids when they were little, and we've carried it through. Even now that they're grown and doing their own thing, and I'm sure they're having pizza on Friday night. All right, let me knead this for probably another minute or so. All right, I think we're about done here. I can grab it. It doesn't stick. Do you see? All right, what we're going to do is just put, a little drop. See that? Little bit of oil for the bottom. Set it in. Little piece there. Just a little drop. Just a little pat on top. We are going to cover this dough, and it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes to rise. It completely depends on the warmth in the area you set it. So I'll check back with you when we're ready to make that pizza. But you know what? We need to make some sauce. Let's do it. All right, friends, for our pizza sauce, this is what we're going to need. 1 6-ounce container of tomato paste. Thoroughly clean it out and get it in your bowl. You're going to need 1/2 a cup of hot water, okay? To the tomato paste, we are adding 1 heaping teaspoon of garlic, 1/2 a teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of powdered onion, granulated onion, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1/2 a teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of minced onion. This looks bigger than it is, but it's only a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red chili pepper. And I promise you, this does not make the sauce hot, okay? This right here is salt, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. And in the center here, I did about 4 or 5 little cranks off of my pepper grinder. And that's it. We add it all in. We're going to give it just a little stir to get it started because, you know, paste is thick. Just kind of get it incorporated a little bit. And now add your hot water. And stir it up. Maybe I should use a fork. We're just going to stir this up. A little fork. This is looking a little thick, so I'm just going to add another splash of water, probably 2 tablespoons. This, again, like baking bread, is something you just need to watch. Depends on the humidity in the air, how hot or cold it is, how thick your tomato paste comes out, all those things. But this isn't something you want runny like you buy the jarred sauces at the store. Pizza sauce needs to be thick, okay? There we have it. Nice and thick, okay? Pizza sauce should be thick, not runny. This is absolutely delicious. This is very authentic, and I promise you, you are going to love it. Let's check on the dough. All right, friends, our pizza dough is ready. It's been an hour. It has more than doubled in size, so I'm happy about that. I have the oven preheated at 400, okay? Look how this comes out. Nice and easy. Now, I have pre-cut a piece of parchment paper that fits my cookie sheet exactly because I have a tiny oven, okay? You could use a pizza pan. You can use whatever you would like to use. But I'm using a cookie sheet, and this is the exact size. So I'm leaving this on my board here, and I'm going to do my dough on this board. One of the things that we like is a little bit of cornmeal on the bottom of our crust. So all I do is sprinkle it evenly, as much as I can, over the bottom of this, and it'll get pressed in as we're rolling it out. Now we're going to take our dough out. To the dough, we're just going to form it. It's so nice. See how it just comes right off of my hands? That's because of the oil in it. So let's form a nice dough. A nice dough ball, I mean. See that? Oh, it's so nice. Press it down a little. And we're going to sit this in the center of my parchment here. I'm going to slowly start pressing it out before I use my rolling pin. I like to press it out with my hands because I want to try to get it to fit this. I want it evenly here. So I want to make sure I have this in the center. Now I'm going to get a rolling pin. I'm going to dust my rolling pin just slightly, okay? Slightly with flour. Just slightly. Just to be sure we don't get any stickage. And start rolling it out to the size you desire. This is gonna puff up, okay? And I don't want a super, super thick deep dish type pizza. So I'm gonna get it as big as I can to fit this. Now what I've done, do you see how I've rolled it beyond my paper? And you're probably thinking, Ashley, it's not gonna fit in your oven. Well, I made an executive decision that we're going to make this a little bit more special because tomorrow is Amy's birthday, okay? So what I've done is I have 4 pieces of string cheese here, okay? I'm going to cut them each in half, just real quick, cut them in half. And we're going to make us a stuffed crust pizza. Do you see what I'm doing? Lay your little cheese in there, and then pull it and stretch it over, and then punch it down, okay? I'm going to place these around my pizza, and then you can take some of your pizza sauce and serve it on the side as a dipping sauce for their crust. Just like that. So all we got to do is pull it. Oop, that one rolled. Pull it and stretch it over. Pull it and stretch it over. And stretch it over. You really don't want to poke holes in your dough while you're doing this because it'll seep out, okay? This has a little bit of the cornmeal on the edges and it gets up on the rim. I'm telling you, this is a way to eat pizza. Tuck it down. Keep rolling. All right, we've got our crust stuffed, and we want to press it in there really, really good. And you can maneuver this around. The dough is so stretchy and forgiving. It's the perfect pizza dough. I'm telling you, it's the perfect pizza dough. I've worked on this for a long time. Pizzas happens to be my favorite food. All right, now that we've got that, you're going to need a fork. And you're going to take your fork and you're going to just poke holes. You're really not trying to go through the bottom of the dough, guys, okay? This keeps it from getting those giant bubbles in it when it cooks. What do we always start with first on pizza? Pizza sauce. Get you a ladle. Get you a big old heaping helping of it. Put it in the center. And now start spreading it around. We're trying to avoid the very edges there where our cheese is. We're just going to load it up with sauce on the inside. And sauce, some people like a lot, some people like very little. I like a lot. Amy likes a little. But with this stuffed crust, I think it's best to use just a little bit more. Look at that. Is that not perfect? And look at all that sauce that is ready. Ready to go. If you had a large family, you could make several pizzas out of one little 60-cent container of tomato paste. I'm telling you, and it tastes better than the stuff you buy in the jar. Now let's get our cheese. I've got 6 ounces, just 6 ounces here. And let me show you how well it covers this pizza. We do not want to waste it, so let's pick it up if it falls off to the side. Again, we're trying to avoid this area. Dump it all in. Most of the cheese nowadays comes in those little 8-ounce bags, and I just will pull 6 ounces out of it. And there you have it. These are the toppings. Very simple for us today. We're going to have some pepperoni. All right, we've got our pepperoni. And by the way, I really love this Shelf Stable by Bridgeford turkey pepperoni. It is awesome. It tastes amazing, and it's shelf stable. You refrigerate it after you open, but it's good stuff. Now I'm going to add some diced onion, just really finely diced. We like ours really finely diced on there because they tend to get crispy. I have some fresh basil from my garden. This is going to be amazing. Just little tastes, you know, and that burst of freshness you get. I only had a couple little cherry tomatoes today, so I'm going to throw those on there too, just randomly. And then we have the rest of our onion. Would you look at that? Now, what else could we do to make it better? We could put a little flavoring, a little garlic or something on the edge of this. I like to keep garlic powder in a shaker for this reason. And you just, you know, when they say, what kind of crust do you want on your pizza? garlic, onion. This is all they're doing, is sprinkling it with a little garlic or onion powder. And that is it. Let's get this in the oven. Okay, into the oven. See how it fits the tray absolutely perfectly? And we're going to cook this for about 15 to 22 minutes. It is definitely done. Let's turn off the oven. Let's pull this out. Would you look at this? Now at this point, do you know you can brush the crust with some butter and add a little bit more seasoning on it if you want, or some Parmesan cheese, and it is fantastic. I know a lot of ways to make and eat pizza, okay? What do you think? Would you look at that? Let me give you a piece of advice about pizza. Don't cut it right out of the oven. Let this pizza sit for at least 2 to 3 minutes before you cut it. I'm going to take it off of this tray and let it sit. I am going to cut this pizza, and I have to use a regular knife because my pizza cutter broke. My Rollabob, I need to get a new one. So I'm going to cut this, and I'll show you when I'm done. All right, here we have it. I want you to see. Isn't that beautiful? Let me get this thing to focus so you can really see. Look at that piece of pizza. There's cheese on the inside. Here's the crust all the way around. Look at that. Cheese on the inside. Let's look at the bottom. Would you look at that crust? Is that beautiful? It's not burnt. It's a little crisp. It's got the cornmeal in it. I'm telling you guys, if you like pizza, you need to try this. And that crust could have been rolled thinner. I could have made it into 2 pizzas because it is a lot of dough. All right, friends, what do you think about that pizza? I tell you right now, it's fantastic. It's delicious. Your children will love it. Everyone's going to love it. It's better than anything that you can buy frozen or have delivered to your home. I promise you that. And making our own things from scratch, like the sauce. I want to talk about the sauce. It'll last at least a week in your fridge, but you probably won't have much left over, but it'll last about a week. And for those of you out there who think, well, if I buy it from the store, it's going to last a lot longer, and I really like that. I want that. Okay, that's good for you. That's good for you. For me, the fact that I can open a bottle of something and put it in my refrigerator and it lasts over a year, that's not the refrigeration doing that. You need to understand it's the preservatives that they put in the food that give it such a longevity. So I'm really changing my thoughts on a lot of things, guys, and you know you've watched me prep this pantry, and I've got a lot of processed foods in it, and we're going to eat them. You bet, but we're not going to inundate every day of our life eating them. We're going to eat healthy foods alongside of them. So if I make something and it only lasts a few days, honestly, I try to make other meals planned around that so it's not going to go bad. So it's all a matter of perspective, personal choice, what we do or don't want to put in our bodies. I mean, there's just so many things, okay? I don't down anybody whatsoever if they don't want to make things from scratch. That's your prerogative. It's just that I have an illness. I have lupus. It has really put me in touch with food, okay? The things I put in my body. And guys, when I make these adjustments, guess what? I feel better. I feel better. There's something to be said for that. So I hope you all will start, for the most part, as much as you can, trying to make things from scratch, okay? Because you're going to feel better. I love you all. Please give us a thumbs up, share and subscribe, and we are going to be talking to you really soon. God bless you.